Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Three Dads and a Console. We know not every dad can stay up to date on the latest and greatest in video game news that you need to know about, so we are here to do it for you. Remember, this show is kid-friendly, so no earmuffs are needed. Now on with the show, I'm one of your hosts. Wabba plays alongside, as always, the Pez.
Hey, what's up, Wabba? If we make it through this episode, it will be a godsend.
Pez, his computer is working exactly as intended.
The way nature intended. My computer is working the next morning after dropping $20 at Taco Bell.
His computer is one bad Windows download away from being out the window.
Being chucked. Yeeting this thing out the window, as the kids say.
So Court is he's not here today, but we are going to be talking about a few things. One is a little bit about what's going on with us in the gaming world, and there's been a lot of news recently, actually, between all the 38,000 conferences. I feel like it's been, I don't want to say it's been too much, but it's not been nothing.
It just it feels like E3 died, so everyone else can just have their own conference.
They're just feasting on the bloated corpse of E3.
That's what it was. That's what the whole thing was. Jeff Keighley's like, oh, it's not E3. Like, oh, Summer Games Fest isn't E3. Oh, okay, buddy. It's not E3. Wink. Gotcha.
Yeah. He's like, it's D4. It's F5.
It's Diablo 4. It's the F5 from Brock Lesnar.
It's Control F7.
It's Control Alt F4 if this computer keeps up.
So you've been playing some Diablos recently,
yes,
right?
Yes. So I know I hem and hawed on this podcast about not paying full price for Diablo, and ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you that I didn't. A streamer friend. Here's a little workaround for all you people out there. A streamer friend bought a pre-built PC. And with his GPU came a copy of Diablo 4. Now, he sold it to me for $30, $30 US, less than half of its price. However, the caveat was I needed to have a 400 series GPU, which I don't. I have a 300 series, like a common man. Right? Like if I was Diablo gear, I would just be junk with my 3000 RTX card. I'm kidding. But
what do I have?
You have a 1000 series card.
That's a few thousand.
It's a few thousand less. A few thousand less.
Okay. Gotcha.
A few thousand less. So I tried to redeem it through NVIDIA GeForce, and they said no. So he redeemed it, logged into my Blizzard account on his computer. This is a homie I trusted with the creds. Trusted him with the creds. Found out my government name and everything. And I was like, it's all good, baby. It's all good. Downloaded, redeemed Diablo, so now I have it on my machine. And I'm going to have it running on the Steam Deck by the end of the evening.
So what you're saying is if you want to get a cheap copy of Diablo, hang out outside of Best Buy.
Yeah.
Find someone buying a new computer.
Yep.
And offer them cold hard cash.
Yep.
To load it up on your Blizzard account.
Yes.
That's
done.
That's too easy.
Too easy.
I can't believe more people aren't doing it.
Me either. I can't either. But you know what? Thanks for listening. You know what? That's how it is. That's how it is.
How is it though?
It's good. It is more Diablo. So I played 2 long time ago. I played 3 on the Switch, and I never played the remaster of 2. Yeah, Wob is leaning in for a little.
No,
kissy.
sorry, my light turned off, and I got worried that it was my power, but it's just a loose cord.
If we lose power,
I was just trying to get close.
I just want to let everyone know out there that if one of us loses power because it is downpouring in Massachusetts, then that's it. If this is a 10-minute podcast, you know why.
But if I lose power, Pez is going to talk to himself. If he loses power, that's the end of the episode. Thanks for playing.
As My Chemical Romance once said, we carry on. And it's fine. So, Diablo 4 is more Diablo. it looks really nice. It runs really nice on PC. It is fully cross play and cross progression. So I played with a friend today who was on PS5. There is in-voice party chat. You can connect to your clan members right away. Everything was pretty crisp, pretty smooth. If you have higher level people join you, they actually scale down to your level. They still have their abilities. So if they're a 77, they still have level 77 abilities, but they scale down to your power level. So when you get it, I can join you. I'm like a level 23 because I have 0 life. And I just got it on Monday, and I've already been cranking. You seem to level up pretty quickly in this one.
I bet in the beginning they do. That's how they hook you in.
Yeah. So it felt like, you kill one skeleton, it's like, oh, ding, level 50. Here's your 50 ability points. But it's fun. It's deeper than I remember Diablo 3 being, which is what it is. I built a druid boy, so I'm crushing it as a werebear out there. The werebear of Arlington, as they say. For those that don't know, a bear shut down Arlington schools on like Monday. Here in Massachusetts, bear sightings everywhere. Cats and dogs living together. It was just crazy. So it's been a good time. I don't know. So my grind focus right now is a little bit of Diablo and a lot of Division 2 because the Division 2 season just dropped. I was actually just playing with my brother and Court before we came on the show. And then he had to go do, Court had to go do dad stuff.
Yep.
So, that's where my focus of the grind is, but we have our heads to the grindstone. And then, I go back and forth with Legend of Zelda, mostly because it's just handheld. So like, I'll only play it when I'm in the living room or I'm like in bed. I don't really play it in the office. Everything else happens in the office because this is where all the stuff is. So yeah, it's been a good time to be a gamer, as we'll talk about. Right. Mr. Wabba Plays, what have you been playing?
So I got two stories. One is about a game and one is about an experience, or heist, as some may call it. So I recently got to play A Space for the Unbound, and if you've been on our YouTube channel, then you've seen my review go out about it today. If you haven't, check it out, but I will say I'm very vague about it because this game's amazing. So shout out to Chorus for hooking us up, and this game is amazing. Like, I've been like kind of like angry at it, not because it's bad, but because I'm like, we don't like deserve this type of story, and they just did it. Like, I was like straight up sad boy crying in a club, vibes. It's like you start off as like, this high schooler. It's based around 90s Indonesia, and it's like you have a girlfriend and you want to create like a bucket list that you complete, and you just like explore this town. This person needs a wheel, you go find the wheel, you blow it up. Very kind of like point and click adventure-y. And there's like a little bit of combat as well, like, but it's just like pushing the direction. But as you go in the story, you find out like this ordinary town like isn't that ordinary. There's actually like a supernatural element to it. And as you start to get invested in these other people, whether it's your classmates, people around the town, it just kind of takes like a very different turn. And God, I don't even I can I was thinking about referencing like some like anime that like if people know, they'll know. So, but like I don't want to because that's how little I want to give away. But it's like an 8-hour game. It's so worth it. I never found like the puzzles to be like super challenging. I never found the gameplay or the objectives to be grating. But it is like an 8 to 10 hour game, and if you can even get like a special ending. So it's on sale right now. I think it's like $15, so it's 25% off. And you can play it everywhere. So it's my game of the year right now, and it beats the likes of like Jedi Survivor, whatever, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Not because Survivor's a bad game. It's just well, Survivor crashed my PlayStation 3 times, like total hard reset. But that game's great. But like the scenes that were supposed to hit emotional beats didn't hit the way this did. And the soundtrack to this is like, so first off, it's like pixel art. colors are super vibrant, and the soundtrack like complements it like super perfectly, even the lyrics. Um, and it's like sung, but like the person, I think her name's Christina Honora. She has like her own YouTube channel. Like I don't know if she has like clips of her just like singing like as a fan doing like a cappella. So I don't know if like this was like her first engagement, because if not, it should be one of many. She's very good, and like I'm just constantly listening to like the soundtrack in those two songs. It's fantastic. So again, I'm being very vague about it, and you're probably like, well, what's this even about? Just please play it. Like, do yourself a favor. Like, you owe it to yourself. Treat yourself. It's 15 minutes or $15 for like 8 hours. Like, if you're into really good deep stories, this is gonna blow your mind. And the story elements that hit, like they hit hard.
Ooh, ooh, right. This sounds right up my alley, man. Sounds right up it. Rocket ship to the moon.
Just you might call it a space dive right into that. You know.
Ooh, let's go. Let's go. A space dive into a star field. But so what type of, so okay, you said point and click puzzles, like deep puzzles, surface level puzzles. What are we talking about for puzzles?
It's the order in which things have to happen.
Okay.
So, like, in which things have to be collected or actions need to be taken. And again, I'm being very vague about it.
Yep.
Because to tell you the complexity of some, or like, you know, how things are, you have to reveal certain story elements, and I don't want to do that.
No. But okay, I guess my question is, could a dum-dum like me figure it out?
Yes, because a
Okay,
dum-dum like
great.
me did.
Great.
The one
Easy.
thing I
Easy.
shared in my review is it's not a game for the kids. It's all text boxes, no voice acting, so it's a lot of reading. And also, too, just some of the beats aren't, you know, it's parents only. So, you know, you can play it with your older kids. They might not be super interested just because it's tough when you're watching a game like that. Like, that's just text. Right. It's really more for the player.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see people streaming this game. I not anymore. Like, I've seen, like, you know, there were streamers that were doing it, mostly I would say like, you know, Southeast Asian ones, and like I was watching reactions and they were just losing it, dude, and the chat was just like sad. Like,
I have to play
I think
it.
online, I think it's definitely for an older audience, even though it's, you know, cute little anime sprites.
It's just like, I have to play it because it just sounds like my reaction I had with the Children of Silent Town. So I have to play it. I have to.
I think you, and I think everybody, you deserve it. Do it for you, because
do it for
like
you.
I said, we don't deserve it, and they gave it to us anyway.
You know what I didn't talk about that actually I found out we can talk about?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. So we can't capture footage from it, but we can talk about our experience with it.
I don't know what we can and can't do, because
I was told by a partner that we could.
Maybe.
Would you like me to speak on it or no? Are you worried?
I don't know how true that is.
Okay, I won't then.
Okay, because I legitimately do not know.
We had a big market tease. Big market tease that was shot down.
Big market tease for next week, because I'll do some research on it.
We'll do some homework.
So, but the other thing I've been doing, alluding to the heist, is I do like yard sailing and thrifting and stuff like that, and it's fun, and I do well. I'm very good at that. I'm good at negotiation. Shocker, I can talk a lot. But you go on TikTok and you see these people, because I like to see like what they're getting, and maybe, you know, it helps me next time, and it has helped. You know, look in the shoe section, I find the rock shoes, I sell them for too much. I usually see people have these video game heists hauls, and I'm like, man, I wish I could stumble upon that. Sometimes you find video games, but like all the vultures come in as soon as you put video game in a listing. Like, they all come in with their cargo shorts and their like hats and their, you know, sunglasses, and they're on their phones checking prices. And like, I try not to check prices live because I just know. But I got there and I look. What do you see? A GameCube. And you see GameCube games and a Xbox and Xbox games and PS1 games. So I got my first with this. I don't think it was listed online. So here's what I got for $60 US. I'm going to do a few hits. A silver GameCube, Kirby Air Ride, Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, the game, Metroid Prime 1 and 2, Star Fox Assault, Paper Mario, The Thousand Year Door, that is a $100 game, Super Mario Strikers, Super Mario Brothers Melee, And again, a few other ones like include an Xbox and some games in it, $60. Person doing it, I brought it to my car. He's like, "Hey, I got some more. You want to see?" Brings out a metal case with a black GameCube in it and all the cords, and he has a bunch of controllers, including an Xbox 360. And he's like, "Hey, I'll just give you the rest for $40." Yeah, done. So I also ended up getting a second GameCube, an Xbox 360 console, which I need to test games, a bunch of controllers, some first party, some not. And again, I'm like, he's doing like $1 per game and stuff like that. That's why I was like, you set the price and I'll pay. I think and yeah, I've again, some of this I might like keep, but like I've never seen that much in the wild, and it's very tough. And I know you kind of do similar things. I know you collect retro games, but for like, I don't know. It's crazy to see all that and think like it's never gonna happen to me. And when it does, I'm like, oh my gosh, now I can like show this to my daughter and like all that, because my GameCube's not in my house. It's in storage. But
Do you ask where this stuff has come from? If he's like, oh, I have a GameCube, I have an X. Are you like, oh, where, like, was this your son's or was this yours? Like, do you ever get in conversation like that with them about
what do you think?
their
He's like a
stuff
fence?
is? What?
Think it fell off the back of a truck? You think he's a fence?
No. I'm
No,
just wondering. I'm just
Yeah.
wondering.
I do sometimes. So they actually said, he's like, "Hey, I've got a bunch of kids. They've got the new systems. We're just trying to move the other ones out." And sometimes like the consoles need like dusting up. Like the 360 I got, it had some like smush on it. Like one of the controls had a piece of gum that like I clean off. And to open the Xbox too, I have to use a credit card, an old one, just to help it open. So it's not, some of the stuff is really good. I haven't tested the GameCubes yet, but the games, I mean, they say like they just don't want it. Like people, they just have clutter.
Yeah.
And he's like, I didn't even think I would sell this stuff that fast. So again, these are people that, he's just trying to make some space, get all the old crap out. He doesn't have time. He's got a bunch of kids. Doesn't have kids. $100. Think about it. Like that's a good amount for the 8 a.m. the beginning of your yard sale.
Yeah, and
I've done that too. What?
A normal gamer, because we're not. We like our retro games. We do. We're not the majority. A lot of them wouldn't just say like, "Hey, the 1,000-year door is worth $100. So I'll sell it to you for $1 or whatever you bought it for."
I mean, if the person here's the thing, like I want them to set the price, because then that's like something they're comfortable with. And with the 360 and like the other GameCube, and again, this is stuff that's untested. I don't know if it's garbage. I know the games are worth it, so that's why I'm like, I'll take a chance on it, because I know that I'm gonna cover. But I've done that too. Like at my yard sales, people will show up like 2 hours before it starts, which is annoying. And I'm like, "Hey, I got a setup. You got to wait in your car. You're first." And they'll offer me something for all my games, and I'm like, "Okay, like let's settle on a price."
Yeah.
And they're underpaying. I mean, they're getting a deal, but I'm getting stuff out of here. And like that's kind of what I care about. I'm like, okay, I know what I can get online, and I know what I just don't. Let someone else do it. Like I'll give it to for nothing. So, it's the way the world works. So some of these games just might go for nothing. I might just give them away.
But I mean,
and what I'm gonna do this year is, when I do it, I'm gonna have the games that are for the people that come early and want to buy me out, and then I'm gonna have games that are for maybe like younger audiences who are just trying to explore the hobby, and let them go for $5 or something. Like what, why not? That's kind of what I want to do. I don't want to sell them all at the beginning. So that's what I'm going to use some of these. Maybe not the GameCube ones, but like PS2, PS3, PS4, PS5, like those ones.
Mm-hmm. What a haul, man.
But
it's funny because we were driving out to Gillette on Saturday. For those that don't know, it was youth soccer night at Gillette Stadium, and there were so many yard sales. And I was like, honey, if we didn't have plans, we'd be stopping. Just because I want to look. I want to see what games they have. Because I'm on the hunt. I mean, you already know the game I want is NCAA 14. I'll never find it. I don't think I'll ever find it, but I'm on the hunt. So I'm like, oh, I might as well see what's out there. Yeah.
I try not to look for games when I go, because you have all the people. Like that's the first thing they want. Like I don't go looking for games. A lot of what I do is actually cameras. Cameras do very well, old ones. I don't use camera, but I know enough about them to know okay, this is how I test the aperture, this is how I test, I don't know, in the viewfinder there's something. I had one where the mirror sticks up. I know how to disassemble it. I know how to open the mirror. Like I've learned how to test these things, and it's interesting. And that's, again, I know we're the video game podcast and stuff like that, but it's just a kind of a neat hobby I've picked up. It's good. It's taken us to taken us to Disney, and it's something I can do with my daughter.
Yeah.
So again, to relay it back to like, father parenting, whatever, is me and my daughter go out after soccer or Saturday mornings. I take her out for 3 hours. We go have fun. She loves it. She gets some stuff. I buy her stuff. People give her stuff. But also too, it's cool when she'll be like, "Hey, this is neat," and I look it up and I'm like, "Yeah, it is."
Yes, it is.
There have been times I'm like, "Yeah, I'm like, that's a $40 item. I just paid $5. Good job, kid." She doesn't know. She doesn't care, but she likes doing it, and I let her help me pack stuff up, and she's good about like, oh, I'll play with this for a bit. This like toy that I'd probably like, and then she helps me put it in the box. So
Free labor.
um,
Free labor for Wabba Corp.
So it's what it's all about. So let's get into some of the conferences. I know we talked about that. So we talked about some old games. Let's talk about some new games. So the first one that came up was Summer Games Fest. We're not going to go through every game. If you watched them, you know what there was. We just want to talk about some of the things that we were excited about. Turn it over to you. Summer Games Fest. What made you happy?
Honestly, for Summer Games Fest, not much. I think my expectations may have been too high. Which I mean, I think that's more on me than Jeff Keighley, right? Like we were saying pre-show that Jeff Keighley was like, "Oh, this isn't really E3, but it's kind of E3, wink wink, nod nod," but like it's not. Just nothing really blew my socks off when it came to Summer Games Fest. I was sitting there, I was writing everything down at work as it came up, and at one point why am I doing this? I don't care. Like Prince of Persia looks cool, but we saw a lot more of it on Sunday. Well, no, Monday at Ubisoft. Cool Spider-Man date, but we kind of knew it was coming out in that time frame. Exactly. I don't know. The Baldur's Gate reveal was neat, but like, who cares? It's just a voice actor. Not just a voice actor, but again, not that big of a deal. Yeah, nothing in Summer Games Fest really grabbed me and was like, "Oh, I can't wait till this comes out," because it just didn't have it for me.
I agree. Everything that I was excited about, I already knew about. So like Mortal Kombat, Spider-Man, like we know.
Yeah.
Alan Wake, like was that just announced there? I think maybe it was.
No, it was. So it was announced at the PlayStation Showcase, so we knew that was coming.
So we knew about that. Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. I think that was a new announcement.
Yeah.
But like again, I feel like we've just been waiting on that for so long. Where it's like, oh yeah, that's
And for me, I'm not a Final Fantasy person. I've never played one. I've never played a Final Fantasy game, so I was like, when they were like, "Oh, and one more thing," hat was ready to hit the ceiling, and instead it fell to the floor.
I thought it was fine. But
sorry, I was coughing. Yeah, I mean, the conference was what it was. It just, it wasn't for me.
Yeah, I will say it was better than PlayStation.
Yes, it's not hard.
So so the next one was Xbox, and that was like the big one that people said. So lot of good games here, and not just the titles, but I know in past I feel like Xbox has been like very unclear where they're like world exclusive, like is this a console exclusive, is this timed exclusive, like what are you talking about? They were very clear with this is going to be on Game Pass, this is going to be Xbox only. Like I thought it was very well done.
Yep.
But you already know what I was excited for.
For Sea of Thieves Monkey Island.
Dude, I can't. The only thing I want is just a insert of a 12-year-old game in a game I don't play. Love it.
Of course. That's what everyone wants. That's what everyone wants.
You'll play it.
It was Persona 3 Reloaded and Persona 5 Tactica.
So the bad part about those announcements is that the dingus who ran Atlas West leaked it 2 days prior.
They sure
like
did.
The whole trailer, and everyone scooped it up. So I already knew about it.
They leaked it themselves.
Oh God, you played yourself. It didn't make me any less excited though. Actually seeing it and confirmed and learning they're both on Game Pass is crazy. It's like I keep trying to. I haven't bought a game on this. Whatever. But Tactical looks great. They're introducing a new character. It's going to be in the Persona Q style, very chibi little dudes. And it's a tactics game, which is kind of cool. I really like that. I like this Gaia, and this gives me an excuse to like play that kind of game in a world that I love. And then 3, we've talked about why we don't play 3. It's because it's old. It feels old. It kind of stinks. But they give it the Persona 5 treatment. The menus, the combat, it looks fantastic. It's basically great. Persona 3 as 5. It looks great. two things I'm a little I don't want to say iffy on, but just observations. One is it's not a remake of Fez, so there's no female main character, which people are a little bent about because they liked, that aspect of it. Whatever, I'm gonna experience it for the first time fully. I'm not too bent about it. Two, and if you want to play that, go play the other one that's on there. Two, they recast everyone.
Ooh, I did not know that.
Little know if people might not know. Yuri Lowenthal, voice of Spider-Man, is the voice of the male main character. He is not this time. They recast everybody. How do I put this? I'm not attached to those characters like I am 4 and 5. I would have liked to have the original cast. However, I trust Atlas, especially like the Persona studio, with their voice acting. They always nail it.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever witnessed a bad. Yeah, I've never witnessed someone where I'm like, that's kind of off. And they recast Chie for Persona 4 Golden with I shouldn't forget her name. I mean, God, I hate this.
I know who you're talking about.
But she's fantastic.
The blonde-headed woman.
Yep. Erin Fitzgerald. I hate that I didn't remember that because I think she's fantastic and she's in so much stuff. But they recast her with her and she was fantastic. But they recast everybody, and the cool part is on Twitter, you have all the original voice actors like quoting the new folks and like congratulating them and like handing it off. And I don't know if that was like, I imagine they're not bent about it because all those people have work now. Like they're very much more popular than they were when 3 was a thing. I don't know if like Atlas asked them to, but it was just really neat to see kind of like that baton pass. So
I mean, Yuri Lowenthal's kind of busy right now.
Yeah, I know, right? But I think it's cool because it shows like they can't use I'm assuming they can't use the original dialogue, or they didn't want to pay them. Right. But I would imagine that asking them to relicense it, if they even had to do that, is way less costly than having a new cast redo it. So what I'm assuming is that there's going to be newer, updated dialogue that they couldn't bring them back to do. So anyway, again, I'm not attached to this cast yet. I'm going to be, and I'm probably going to just be a puddle. But excellent to see. I mean, Atlas is fantastic, and I'm kind of hurt that they showed this at Xbox and not PlayStation. And I was worried before I got an Xbox. I'm not now. Give it to me for free. Why not?
Well, because there's no it seems like whatever exclusivity Sony had with Atlas is forever done. Because they're putting out 2 new games. We're not talking like a Persona 4 Golden release, but we're talking 2 brand new games. One's coming out in November, so P5T, Persona 5 Tactica coming out November 17th, and then in 2024 is Persona 3, and they're coming they're day 1 on Game Pass. Day 1 on Game Pass. That's huge for Xbox. And for those plebs that don't know, if you have Game Pass Ultimate, you can play those on your PC. So if you on your PC opened up the Xbox app right now, Persona 5 is there. Because that's how I play it on my PC, through Game Pass. It's the best.
I'm excited. I will if there's a collector's edition though, I will likely buy it.
I
haven't bought a game in a while. And that'll be it.
I'll
give my money. Support the studios you like. I don't care.
Yeah, who cares? Speaking of Game Pass, I believe like 21 of the 24 games they showed are going to be on Game Pass, which is wild. I thought most of the games they showed were pretty good. Most of them. Fable was only a trailer, but like Fable's coming back. I love Fable.
It looked maybe like gameplay Fable. Though. Right?
We don't know. I don't know.
So can you tell me, like, is Fable like, is it a universe or just like a name like Final Fantasy and it's all like not connected?
No, it's a universe. So it's the sequels are very like supposed to be sequels.
Yeah. I love that trailer. So do you know, have you seen the person who plays the giant, have you seen him in anything?
I can't remember.
He is in the IT Crowd. He plays a character named Moss. And IT Crowd, very funny British humor. You'd like it. And as soon as I saw him, I'm like, I'm just quoting things in my, I cannot have some of the quotes out loud. But he's very funny. And to see him in kind of like an enemy role, that was that was a very impactful trailer for somebody who is familiar with the actor, because he always plays a goofball. And you kind of saw that, and then he's like a giant who's trying to kill the main character.
It was great.
They did good.
it was like we knew Fable was going to be there, but it was like the perfect way to kick off that conference because people have been dying for a Fable game. I think the last Fable game was 2012. Did Fable 3 come out? So just to have a new Fable game get officially announced, it's like, dude, yes, finally. Finally. Um Star Wars Outlaws looked great.
Yep.
We saw more of that. Fable 3 was 2010. So 13 years ago was the last Fable game. Star Wars Outlaws look great. We can talk more of that during the Ubisoft conference. 33 Immortals I thought looked great. That was like the 33 co-op multiplayer game. Wild stuff. 33 co-op, insane. Persona 3 Avowed looks good. I'm really excited for Avowed. Sea of Thieves. I know Wob is excited for Sea of Thieves. Monkey Island. They showed Sensuna Saga Hellblade 2.
Yep.
Ooh.
Love that studio. Ninja Theory. Amazing.
And then they showed Kunitsugami, which I was like, I don't know yet. And then Starfield. In Starfield, they showed Fallout 76. I don't care about Fallout 76 because it was there was some I crossed out. I think it's because I don't care about them. Microsoft Flight Sim 2024.
That looked cool. It's not my kind of game, but they're like, oh yeah, you can build like that. People are gonna lose themselves in that game.
Of course, like the flight sims are good if you just want to chill out and fly a plane and like be like, today I feel like flying to Anchorage, Alaska. Great, we're gonna go, and it looks like Anchorage, Alaska. Right, so it's cool, but it's definitely not for me. And then Starfield, which I hate Bethesda because they do such a good job of making me want games because I love Bethesda, but I know the game is going to be a mess. And Todd Howard comes out there and I'm like, Todd Howard, you beautiful man. I hate you so much because you're just going to lie to me again. But it looks so much fun. And it looks like a nice cross between No Man's Sky and some of the shooting of like, some of the shooting between Skyrim, and you got some like Skyrim-y characters and some of the Fallout style shooting, and it's just like, dude, please be good. Please be good, because this looks like a game I can just sit on my couch, pop on my Xbox Series X, and just like enjoy, and that's it. And not have to worry about anything. I can just, if I want to do space combat, I can be a space pirate. If I just want to explore on the ground, I can explore on the ground. If you want to run the drug trade, you can run drugs in the game. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. The amount of stuff that it looks like they can do. I'm just give me a good launch. Please, please. You need this, Bethesda. I need this. We all need this. Make it a good launch.
I recognize that game's gonna be very good. I'm just like looking at it. I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. Like, it's free, so I get to try it out. But I'm like, is it too big? It seems like No Man's Sky, and I just with Bethesda. And again, I love Fallout. Like, let's get that clear. But he's like, oh yeah, it's got way less bugs than Fallout. Dude, 900 is still a lot of bugs. Just because Fallout had 1,000, you're technically not lying. But again, I'm being hyperbolic. I don't care so much about the bugs, but more so like, I don't know. It looked like the enemies were base suits or gross monsters. Where in Fallout you get like, okay, you have humans and they wear different armor, and you can see that, or you have like ghouls, or you have, superhuman or super mutants, and it's like in this, it's like literally looks like I'm shooting at spacesuit or I'm shooting at gross monster.
But they weren't gonna show us everything. There is stuff.
I know.
There has to be aliens somewhere.
I didn't even think of that. I didn't even think of that.
1,000 planets. There has to be like a bug planet. There has to be like a just alien planet. It's got to be out there. If they don't do like 4 to 10 alien references, game's trash. I need xenomorph references. I need it all.
I'm comparing this game to Mass Effect because I don't play a lot of space like shooting type games. Granted, that's the story versus gameplay, but like in terms of world building, that's kind of my like benchmark. So I'm interested to see how it does against that. And again, I think it will be very good. I'm just debating on whether or not it's going to be a game that's really for me. And again, that doesn't mean you folks shouldn't be excited. Or, you know, you folks shouldn't play it. And I saw it when they're like, "Oh, you can build your own ship." I'm like, that's not. I don't want to do that.
You just want to get.
But I mean, I can see the beats that you're going to be like, "Oh man, this person's going to get really into building your ship, and this person's going to create your own like whatever." And I'm like, this person's going to like, mine on the rocks, and I'm like, these are not my things. But I think it's interesting how you can find each person can find a thing that they like to do. So it's very ambitious, and I'm very curious, and it's free on Game Pass, so I don't even have to. The debate is gone.
You
Just try it.
almost though have to wonder, because it's so big, jack of all trades, master of none type game. Who's to say?
We don't know.
We don't know. But because there's a lot to do, and you wonder if it's the No Man's Sky overpromise, under develop, and everyone's gonna give a pass to them anyway because they're Bethesda and people don't care. But
Yeah.
I definitely wouldn't expect Mass Effect level world building. I would say it's like Skyrim level world building, which is still very good, but it's less character driven and more like text logs, stuff like that. But the world building is still there and it's still super deep. So don't go in thinking Mass Effect, go in thinking Elder Scrolls.
Well, I never played Skyrim. Do you know why?
Because it was big.
bricking people's PlayStation 4s.
Should have played it on the Super Nintendo like the rest of us.
Should have played it on the fridge.
Dude, oh man, what was it? Fallout 3 that was like bricking PS3s? What Bethesda and PlayStation, man. No wonder Microsoft bought them. They were doing
right, exactly.
they were doing what Microsoft couldn't in that generation that was shut down PlayStation.
No one. Well, it's the PlayStation sold so well because people had to buy 2 consoles after playing Skyrim.
That's right. It's all a corporate scam.
Yeah. 2 other hits I wanted to talk about the Xbox conference. One is a game called Metaphor ReFantazio. It's Japanese JRPG. It's the Atlas Persona team making it. So it's no longer, hey, we're doing high school. We're doing like fantasy. And that's very exciting that they're trying a different world. I'd like them to do Persona forever, but the fact that that team is doing something different, I know what I'm getting into. I'm in. And then, talking about underperforming, Overwatch 2 Invasion.
Oh my god.
These highfalutin nerds are basically so Overwatch 2 basically shouldn't exist because they said we're going to come out with a DLC and hero progression and stuff like that. And then recently we talked about it. They said, we don't have the resource to do that. We're going to focus on live content. To which the internet said, we hate you. And they essentially got bullied into backtracking. But instead of being like, you know what, like we did lie to you, here's the content you were looking for, they're charging people money.
Of course.
To access the content that they initially promised to justify the existence of a sequel. I'm done with you, Overwatch. And this is a game I've poured hundreds of hours into. And to see that, it's embarrassing. I can't believe it.
Was very random to see, like almost that if Bethesda Blizzard came out and was like, oh, we're actually gonna do PvE. That was the trailer, that was the PvE trailer, right? But they just couldn't cut it at that point because this thing has been put together for like a month or whatever. I tweeted about it and I was like, this doesn't make sense.
No.
Why are you here? I don't understand you.
They ruined a perfect, I would say a very good conference. It's like I love Ricky Bobby when one person says something and it's really cool pump up and the other person says something and it's not cool. That was like the not cool thing. It's like you ruined a good thing by being here. I'm surprised Microsoft didn't cut him.
I was just like, why are you the way that you are? Next.
Exactly.
I'm done with you, Overwatch. Let's move on.
So, but that was Xbox. Xbox, excellent, I think.
Yeah.
Aside from Spider-Man, because again, everyone has high hopes for that game. I would say the worst Xbox game announcement, not again Overwatch 2 not included. The worst Xbox announcement was better than the best PlayStation one.
The PlayStation Showcase was incredibly underwhelming. with the Xbox showcase, I was quite whelmed.
Whelmed
Great.
indeed.
It was
So
great.
let's move on to Ubisoft.
Oof.
Ubisoft.
Speaking of underwhelming, holy smokes.
Oh, you
I
didn't
did
love it?
not like it. I'm not an Avatar guy, so 15 minutes on
Oh
Avatar. I
my
was like,
gosh.
please. The game looks beautiful, but guess what? I don't care. I don't. It looks great. Like, it looks. When I say it looks great, I don't say like, oh, the gameplay looks great. No, it is visually stunning. Just like the rest of the garbage that James Cameron puts out. Visually stunning. But also, like the other garbage he puts out, I don't care.
Mm-mm.
I don't care about being a Navi. I don't care about any of it. I don't care about any of it. I don't know why Navis. I don't know why, because you're like half a human. They're like, well, you were half an American. You can use a gun now. And I'm like, what? This doesn't make, just give me Navi weapons. I don't care about, I don't want to be the blue man using a rocket launcher. I want to use like a bow and arrow. I want to like throw spears. I want to like jump from my 8-winged bird. Like that stuff seems cool. And then they're like, oh, but because you were a human, you can use a gun. And he's like running around shooting people with his M16. I'm like, this is dumb. This is dumb. Not, no, nope, 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 no.
I
No,
was
thank
hanging
you.
out in the carpool chat for that, and like the whole time they're like, "Oh yeah, like it's cool." Like it's so they do trailer, then they bring the person out to like release the date, which was like very underwhelming the way it was presented. It was just text on a screen, and then they go back and they show the same trailer, but with like people. It's like people talking over it. It's like the whole conference was 15% on like Avatar. I don't care, and it looks like Far Cry plus Avatar, which if you're into that, that's cool. I didn't like Avatar. I don't care about it. Um, and the only thing I remember about Avatar is people getting like super depressed after watching it because they didn't really live in that world. And I thought that was a weird phenomenon.
Absolute dorks.
So that's my thoughts on Avatar. It's
And
fine.
if Wabba thinks it's weird, you're all in trouble.
Yeah, here I am being like, guys, you gotta go play, or you gotta go get excited for a game called like whatever folklore bungus,
Yeah.
and then it's like Avatar now. But they did show more Assassin's Creed Mirage, which I thought they had shown a trailer, I think, before, right? I think PlayStation. I thought this was better, but it just still seems like
Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed.
It still seems like
Like, where's the
Assassin's Creed.
innovation?
That's it. It seems like next gen Assassin's Creed, which, you know what? Might be cool. I don't know. I'd never played Valhalla because it was 90 hours long. And I don't have that. I gotta save that time for games that really speak to me, like Persona 3, right? Like I can't drop 90 hours into Valhalla just to do the same thing over and over. I can't do it. So I don't know about Mirage. Looks pretty good. Some of the kills look good. Some of the little like traps that they threw out look good. Do I care? I don't know yet. I need to see more, and I need to know how long it is.
That too.
Because again, if it's 70, 80 hours, I'm not going to play it. If it's 20 or 30, I'll give it a shot.
I don't know the story anymore, but remember how there was like a story within a story? It wasn't just you were the assassin, it was you were,
So
there
that is
was
like
somebody in
gone.
current day. And that was so cool. And then they did away with that.
Yep.
And then I feel like they moved away from it. And it was at that point that I stopped caring because I think the gameplay is fine. I don't think the story of I'm an assassin, I'm going to go around, stabbing folks is strong enough to warrant my time when there's so many better stories out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and that's not to say the writing isn't good. It's just they had something really interesting and then they just took a left turn and that's when I stopped playing.
I would say not much from the Ubisoft conference. I'm looking at some of it. Not much like really like Skull and Bones. We're like, oh, Skull and Bones is going to be there, and it was, but it was a band playing Yo-Ho Skull and Bones. But that was it. And you saw some footage in the background, and that could have been the game. That could have been Sea of Thieves. That could have been someone's home movies of Pirates of the Caribbean ride. We don't know because we've never seen this game, right? We have no idea. So I was like, really, this game. When they announced this game, it was like my 4th grade graduation, right?
I'm pretty sure my daughter wasn't alive yet.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my daughter wasn't alive. She's gonna be 12, right? So like, I'm pretty sure they announced this probably 10 or 11 years ago, right?
Wasn't this supposed to be a PS1 title? And they
Dude, I
just
have no idea.
oh,
Uh,
I'm sure it's cool, but like I've mentioned before, the pirate. So things come in waves when it comes to like different games. We had, a lot of zombies hit when Last of Us did. Days Gone came out then. Walking Dead was big then, and then you had the pirate wave, and I feel like that's past. I don't know what we're in now. I know like Samurai picked up a little bit, but like
yep.
it's not the pirate wave anymore.
No.
And I feel like they're just clinging on. Now this could be amazing, and I hope it is because especially after all this time, like I think they've probably they've had a lot of time to refine it and like adjust it to like
Yeah.
but I think it's interesting that the popularity of the subject has passed. So that's gonna kind of be a uphill battle for them.
Sure is. I think the shining star of the Ubisoft conference was Star Wars Outlaws.
Yep.
And I'm not a Star Wars guy at all. I think Worf is probably my favorite character, but
Oh Jesus.
I always do that to trigger
Just
the nerds.
people in the car are offended. They're like, I have to turn this off and call the police.
Call 911 on that man. I thought the trailer was very cool. I thought the gameplay was very cool. I'm into it. I'm into it. A kind of open world single player Star Wars game.
Mhm.
Sure. Look, we can bag on Ubisoft on making the same games, but they make pretty good open world games.
They know what they're doing. Yeah,
I'm excited to try it out. I'm excited to play it. I need to see
it
more.
looks fantastic.
But like, I don't know. Can I be evil KVS? Who knows? Can I join the Sith at some point? Who knows? I don't know.
Well, just the world is
looks good.
interesting.
Yeah.
They showed a lot from it, like a bunch of different alien races, and at what point in time you're in. They showed like a little clip of Carbonite Han. But the thing that's cool is like her companion is like a clone war droid, and I feel like a lot of Jedi Survivor did a little bit, but like not like super in depth. But like I feel like that's really interesting and how they like view the Empire from like a hate like a like it's not just like oh big baddies. It's like no, it's like a little political type aspect locally. That's just kind of very cool to me. That game is gonna be insane,
Yes,
especially
I
since
agree.
the EA game did so well. This is gonna be nuts, and I hope that these things become canon. We saw Cal Kestis, that is now canon. Hopefully, this game will join that as well because it looks that game is gonna sell so much.
And created by Massive, who has hands all over this conference. So for those that don't know, Massive is the studio behind The Division. They were involved in the Avatar game. They're involved in this game. They were probably involved in the Division mobile game. Heartland, which didn't get shown. Ubisoft, what are you doing? Show me Division Heartland. Why are you the way you are? Why are you overwatching to your own conference? Show me Division Heartland, will ya? That was the one thing I really didn't like. That, and I felt Ubisoft a lot did like not actual gameplay a lot, like the trailer and then at the bottom not actual gameplay. Because I immediately tune it off. I immediately tune out because I don't care. If it's not, I've been burnt too many times by your Batman Arkham Knights at E3 and your No Man's Skies and your Fallout 76s. That if it's not gameplay, if it doesn't say created in engine, I don't care.
I hear that.
And that's it.
And there was a whole bunch of other conferences and still more this week. We're not going to talk about all of them in depth, but Capcom was there, no Monster Hunter, so
I thought Capcom stunk.
They're focused on Street Fighter.
I know.
That game is doing
it's
well.
It's just like what's the point? If you're not going to bring it, why? You can just do a 30, 45-minute thing on YouTube in the middle of July.
Because everyone else is.
Yeah,
so they also, Xbox did a showcase extended where they showed off more gameplay and they talked about DLC for Higher in Life and an update for Hi-Fi Rush, which makes no sense why they would split their conference, but that's not on me. Guerrilla Collective is doing one. Upload VR, I don't know what that is. That's happening today. Grasshopper Direct, which Grasshopper manufacturer, Suda51, did Killer 7 and Lollipop Chainsaw. That's happening in 3 hours.
How dare you not mention No More Heroes 1 through 3?
Is it shocking why I played?
I've never played those games.
Oh, I was like, think about the 2 games I just
why
mentioned.
You played Lollipop Chainsaw? I have no idea.
makes no sense.
No idea.
The folks who make Yakuza is having a direct on the 16th. So they just also announced the man who erased his name, Like a Dragon, and Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. I don't actually understand
I don't
these
either.
two games. I like the series. But like you just had one that was in Samurai Ito era, and now you have two more. I don't understand. Still gonna play them. Annapurna is happening on the 29th. TH Nordic is on the 11th. Destiny 2 Showcase is on the 22nd. Gamescom
Ooh.
is on August 22nd. Future Game Show on August 23rd. When is enough enough?
It's never enough.
It's
Never
like we
enough.
had nothing for a while, and everyone's like, let's just dump everything on you in the summer.
Dude, the summertime is like where it's at.
It's a
It's
Wild
where it's
West.
at. It is like, okay, we're gonna do the big thing in June. Although, you know who didn't do anything?
PlayStation.
Nintendo. No. Well,
Oh,
PlayStation had
oh.
their thing, but Nintendo hasn't done anything. We got maybe one piece of Nintendo content, and it was the Mario Rabbids DLC. That's it. Not Mario. Nintendo was just like, you nerd, all our Nintendo nerds are still playing Zelda. We're watching the Mario movie. They don't care what we have to say. No one cares. And they're kind of right. Like, they could come out and be like, well, Kirby and the Forgotten Dream or whatever is coming out in August. People be like, who cares? It's Zelda. We're still playing Zelda. Who cares? Shut up.
I'm still
Shut
on
up.
level 2 of Zelda.
Yeah, find us in October. Come in October and then give us a direct and be like, hey, guess what is coming? Wahoo! Mario's coming in March with the Switch 2.
You get Pokemon Bungus with 8 new Pokemons.
Yeah, you got a Pokemon that doesn't work. You got a Kirby game no one cares about, and everyone is just standing in line with a bowl, holding it up like Oliver Twist, being like, more Donkey Kong, please. And they're like, nope, absolutely not. Here is Donkey Kong Freeze 2. It's just a remaster of the remaster that we put out early in the Switch's lifespan. Here
My
is
daughter
Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, the movie, the game.
to the streets.
To the streets.
I'm shocked they haven't done anything with the movie. Like, no time. My daughter's obsessed with Donkey Kong. She loves
Nothing.
him. She walks around. She does the Donkey Kong thing. She sings DK Donkey Kong. Like, why? They made a lot of money on that movie, and they could have capitalized on a game. And I'm shocked because old Nintendo would have taken any movie property and made it an open world. Like, they basically like taking was it Bubsy type game
my God,
where you just
Bubsy.
go around and collect a certain thing from the game, and there's no main boss.
Yeah. No.
Where's that
they
Nintendo?
Nintendo Wii era Nintendo would have been like, hey kids, like right at the end of that movie, there would have been the stinger, like the Marvel stinger, would have been like, hey kids, tell your parents to go get Donkey Kong Banana Blast on the Nintendo Wii, and it would have been some shovelware garbage for $40 that gets a 3 on IGN. It gets like a 58 on Metacritic, and grandma buys it for you for Christmas because she's like, oh, my Shani loves his Nintendo Wii, and I remember this movie. And then bang, there it is. There it
It'd
is.
be like that. I think you should leave where you have to buy bananas as in-game currency, and as every time you use it's like 1 banana is 40 bananas.
Yeah, he's like, oh, 1 banana is 200 bananas. Oh my God, it's just this era Nintendo's like, hey, here is your game of the year. Shut your mouth. Play it, you stupid dorks. We'll see you in October.
Yeah, we're taking 6 months off.
That's it.
Paid vacation.
That's it. They said, hey, we made this game for 6 years. You dum-dums are going to play it. You're going to love it. You're going to show us all your weird, inappropriate robots, and we'll see you in the fall. Who cares? We're going to Universal. We're going to Universal. We're going to Super Nintendo World in California. We'll see you guys later.
Oh,
and everyone was like, all right, cool. Thanks for Zelda. And that was it. And you know what? Xbox, if Redfall was really good, Xbox probably could have did that too. If they wanted to be like, oh, well, you know what? Hey, go play Redfall. It's actually really good. Well, you know what? We'll see you in August for a Starfield Direct. And everyone would have been hats to the ceiling.
Oh, man. But I think overall we got some good stuff. Not
I
from
do too.
PlayStation, unfortunately, but
like
a lot of good things to look forward to.
Very happy we didn't get a Gran Turismo trailer, which I thought we were gonna get during Summer Games Fest. I was waiting for it. I was waiting for the Gran Turismo movie trailer. Oh
I'm saying
gosh,
it's like I'm.
but it's just like E3 died, so Summer Games Fest could be reborn like a phoenix, and I think it was, I thought its actual conference was bad, but the weekend is still pretty cool. I think. I mean, what I hated about E3 was like the flash of it all. Was like, oh, here comes EA, and EA comes walking out, and the guy's like, "Hello, mate. Have you all ever seen a Porsche 911?" And the crowd is like, "Oh my god!" And they're like, "Here it is!" And the freaking Porsche 911 comes out, and everyone is like losing their minds. Then like, you can find it in EA Racing Game 2028, and they're all like, "Woo!" And it's Flash. It's dumb Flash, and it's like, whoa, why do games cost so much? I don't know. You rented a Porsche. You tell me why this game costs a cajillion dollars to make.
Didn't one of the companies do that exact same thing, but instead of a car, it was Nicolas Cage?
Dead by Daylight was like, oh, here's Nick Cage. And so Nick Cage comes out.
And he's like, here I am.
He's like, yeah. They're like, oh, so, yeah, they're like, oh, so Nick Cage, you play a Survivor? And he's like, yeah. They're like, oh, how did you come up with the role for that? He's like, I did all the voice acting myself. And then, like, that was it. And everyone on the internet's like, oh my God, Nick Cage. Oh my God. And I'm like, what is he doing right now? I don't understand it.
Such a goober.
I don't understand it. Oh my God, it's me, Nick Cage.
The older I get, the more I appreciate him. But man, that guy is a goober.
It's just like, if there's one thing I hate about us as gamers, this is what I will. I should end my thing on this, but I'm not. On Steam, 12, 10, 15 of the top sellers on Steam are not released yet. So we complain about like how games don't work, and then it's like, well, Starfield is like 7th on the top like sellers on Steam. It's not out yet.
No.
Guys, daddy chill. You don't need to do it. It's fine. I think Outlaws was up there. I'm like, guys, these games aren't out yet. We don't know what these games look like. These games could look like insidious buckets of poopy. And you're all just buying them. That's the one thing.
They're not buying the game, they're buying the promise of a game.
That's the one thing I hate about conferences is after everyone is so hyped that they just go out and pre-order.
You know what I did do after the last Bethesda conference, I remember. Your boy, when they announced Fallout 4, your boy went out and pre-ordered 2 collector's editions.
Solid.
I still have one right here. Brand new in the box.
I also pre-ordered a collector's edition. Decided I didn't want it and sold it for triple.
That's what I'm trying to do right now.
You gotta do that
for the second
launch day, baby.
We all make mistakes.
You should have got that Fallout 76 canvas bag that they didn't give out to people in the beginning, but then eventually ended up giving out to people. But then, actually, before the customers got mad, they gave them out to influencers. Buy Starfield.
Be tepid. Be very tepid.
Oh gosh.
Hold your horses. Your horses will likely be able to run.
Just lead them.
Just hold them until. Just hold them until we get there.
Allow the horses to get some water before
they'll hop on the spaceship. Don't worry, they'll go to space.
Nerds.
But keep them on Earth for a little bit.
Keep them on Earth just for a bit. Keep the hats on the head.
Any final thoughts for the folks?
No.
For today.
I don't. Thank you all for joining us today. It was a wonderful talk. Also, Capcom, you just announced Monster Hunter already. Why are you doing this to me? Just give me Monster Hunter 6, or if you're going to call it Monster Hunter World 2, or if you're going to call it Monster Hunter Universe, or whatever you want to call it, just give it to me. Thank you very much.
You heard it here first. Capcom, stop what you're doing. Stop your roadmap for Street Fighter and start development for this game.
Capcom, I don't know if you know this, but no one cares about Street Fighter, okay? Mortal Kombat 1 is coming out. Drop all your plans. Monster Hunter 6. Lean into it.
We know Sony just bought Evo, but you already have their money. Use it to make a different game.
That's right. You have their money. Make make Pezzy's Monster Hunter game already, will you?
That's what happens. That's what happens when they pre-order a fighting game and turn them in.
Yeah.
They should have waited till the release date.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, folks, thank you very much for joining us. Three Dads and a Console, the Pezzy and Wabba show. For this episode. If you had fun, please make sure to follow us on youtube.com/3dadsandaconsole where you can see us live. Also, check out our new videos. We got some new ones coming up. I just have my a space for the Unbound if you want to see what the game is about. Again, I'm not going to tell you. Go buy it. It's $15. Treat yourself. We have a bunch of other reviews on the way, so stay tuned for that. And make sure to rate us 5 stars on your podcast platform of choice. I'm hoping that in the next few weeks we're gonna have some fun announcements for you folks, both concerning fun things going on with the podcast, other things that we're getting involved with. Again, some announcements that they may rustle some jimmies.
Some jimmies might be rustled
in a good way. I mean,
yep.
So, and it's also fun to do. So keep that in mind. And yeah, stay tuned. At 3DadsPod on Twitter as well for more announcements. Thank you very much, folks, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.